Today, after months of debate at the state capitol, Governor Tim Walz signed a bill protecting Minnesotans' reproductive freedom and access to abortion. The bill, known as the PRO Act, was passed by the state Senate last week after around 15 hours of debate. This afternoon, lawmakers and activists joined the governor to sign the legislation into law. Let's take you there now to hear what they had to say.
And the message that we're sending to Minnesota today is very clear. Your rights are protected in this state. You have the right to make your own decisions about your health, your family, and your life. In a few moments, we'll make sure that our state law reflects exactly that. On June 24th, the Supreme Court turned back the clock on reproductive rights, and on 50 years of personal freedom was taken from Americans all across this country. That day, the Lieutenant Governor, the First Lady, and I vowed to protect your rights in Minnesota as long as we had the privilege to be in office. And I want to say thank you to Minnesotans who showed up in November to make sure that we're able to keep that promise. We're going to get to keep that promise thanks to the first pro-choice majority in state history. So to Minnesotans, know that your access to reproductive health and your right to make your own health care decisions are preserved and protected. And because of this law, that won't change with the political winds or the makeup of the Supreme Court. This is a bill for Minnesotans today and all future generations.
I, like so many others across the nation, was devastated when the Dobbs decision came out last summer. So I, like many of you I'm sure did, called my mom. She listened to my fears for my daughter's future, and then told me she'd been preparing me for my whole life for this fight and for this moment. I know that she would be so proud of all of us and all of the good work we've done to get here today, and I know that she is in this room. So thank you to my mom and to all of the mothers and grandmothers and aunties and advocates who prepared us for this fight, this victory. Today, it is for you. This victory is for Indigenous women, for Native women, for Black women, for our LGBTQ+ neighbors and relatives, for low-income folks, for people who live in rural communities, and for everyone who has fought for sovereignty of their own bodies. Last night, I received a message from my friend Hillary, who lives in North Dakota, who is Indigenous, who said that we're grateful for the work you are doing in Minnesota to be a good neighbor. There are Indigenous people who will need to come to Minnesota, and I say to all of you, we welcome you here.
Politics is a team sport, and today's victory belongs to hundreds of thousands of Minnesotans. This victory took the effort of every single person who volunteered on any one of our campaigns, who got engaged in these campaigns, and who voted to protect reproductive freedom in the state of Minnesota. That's why 103 legislators were invited to be here today. It took 34 senators. It took 69 members of the Minnesota House of Representatives, and so many of them are here behind me right now. They represent the many more people who are part of this victory and who could be here as well. Fundamentally, this legislation is about who decides. Who should be legally entitled to make reproductive health care decisions for an individual? And I think Senator Nicole Mitchell shared a personal story that was illustrative of why this decision has to reside with the individual and the individual only. It can't be decided by politicians. It can't be decided by judges. Minnesotans deserve reproductive freedom. I'm really proud of being part of the DFL team that protected that freedom, and I'm honored to be a part of this ceremony today.
I'll just leave you with a thought that has really been staying with me through this past weekend and giving me so much joy and comfort, and that is that I am just so proud to live in Minnesota. I am so proud to live in a community, in my community of Duluth, in my community of the state of Minnesota, that knows how important it is to protect and enshrine these liberties and freedoms, to make sure that Minnesota will remain this North Star lead in the Midwest, that we will protect individual liberties and freedoms. We will make sure that individuals have the right to make autonomous decisions about their own health care. I think I said that about 15 times or more on Friday night into Saturday morning. But it just gives me so much pride to live in this state, and I thank each and every one of you who made sure to send a pro-choice majority to the legislature to re-elect our wonderful governor and lieutenant governor and our statewide officers to make sure that we would protect these freedoms.
Keep watching CBS News Minnesota for continuing coverage.